Co-founder, president, and developer getting one-on-one with creators and troubleshooting. Even though we're in beta, that's still the transparency here. Thank you, Texas. The transparency here and your willingness, and yours and Zach's and Freed and everyone's willingness to get on and like answer questions and troubleshoot. I have never been more grateful. Thank you so much for even coming and doing the
Also,
weekly.
if somebody is watching this on the team, can somebody flag Kendrick that the chat keeps pausing in studio? The chat's moving so fast that it just like gets into a pause state.
Best
Thank you.
Buy, thank you so much. Yeah, my merch is available if you're OGs, if you're beta
I
baddies.
told somebody on the team to flag Kendrick, and I just walked over to Kendrick in the office.
Flag yourself, Kendrick. Flag yourself. All right, DT, it's Wisdom Wednesday, my darling. How long do we have you today?
We're gonna run this one for 30 minutes over here.
Okay, and do we have time for Q&A, or do we want to do 20 minutes
We
and then
got
turn over
a
here?
little bit of time for Q&A.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm just gonna start off with saying we have not been like as anybody here can tell you that's actually been on the app. We have not been moving nearly as fast as we want to be moving, and I'm gonna be very upfront about that.
Thank you.
Hey, Kendrick.
When you say moving, you mean as
Yeah.
far as launching
Hey guys,
products?
can you guys spam the chat for a second? We're showing Kendrick what's going on real quick.
Spam the chat. Give
Yeah,
everybody, tell what's your gangster
the
name,
chat
Gay?
basically pauses. It moves so fast that it gets into chat pause state like almost immediately.
Yeah, I have not had a chat be moving this quickly before. Okay.
Come over here, my
now,
darling.
now you know. Okay, can we stop spamming the chat? This is
Yeah.
okay. This is a little holy.
407 MVPs
Oh
in
my
this chat, by the
God.
way.
See, I tested
No
it with
pressure.
just like 3 people typing. Oh man. Okay. Yeah.
Well, we got 400 people in here.
Yeah.
So
Okay, I will definitely put a fix on that. Thank you for finding that.
yeah, So basically, for context, what happens is on Studio, when you scroll up in the chat, it pauses the chat so you can actually read it. But the problem is when the chat moves super quickly, there's so many messages getting added that it thinks that you've scrolled up.
That happens on the phone too, though.
Not really. It's actually like it happens occasionally on the phone, but that's only if you like scrolled up slightly.
Okay,
If
so
you're like pinned to bottom, it usually doesn't happen on phone.
okay, so if I'm trying to scroll back up and catch a comment, there's definitely a point where I can no longer scroll up any further, right?
Well,
And it's not like it's like, is it a number of comments? Like you
Well,
can't go past
I'll
20
show you
comments?
guys exactly what's happening. So, everybody spam chat real quick.
Okay, spam again, spam again. Malibu, thank you so much. Alpha Gold Quest,
So
thank you.
so basically when you scroll up, it says chat pause. The problem is when chat is moving so fast, it literally will scroll to. It literally thinks I'm scrolling up,
Oh, right.
so it
Okay.
gets stuck on pause.
Okay. So that it's not the same issue then on the phone, but we most certainly, like, if somebody ats me and I see it and I want to scroll back and catch it, and if I don't do it soon enough, I can no longer find it because the chat's scrolled down further. Just happened. Hi, C.
But yeah. Anyways, let's kick things off.
Let's do it. Okay, my darling. Thank you so much. Wisdom Wednesday, guys. Keep it rated G. I do have my swear jar here, so if you do swear, you owe me a speed demon. Also, we have incredible moderators here, and we have some incredible favorited staff that are catching questions. So please keep the spamming down and ask questions in the chat, so you absolutely will have an opportunity to get some really great information. We have combed the desert. We have combed favorited this last week and gotten our FAQs, and there has been some stuff that's happened in the last 24 hours that we want to make sure that we address. But first and foremost, we want to make sure that everyone knows that this is a place of positivity. This is not a bashing session of anyone. We are in beta and we're building this out together. So thank you for your questions and reporting of issues. But if you're here to complain or moan or whine about you're not getting what you deserve, my darlings, let's talk about the positive spin on how we can help you get what you believe you deserve in a positive, loving, and
I
uplifting
opened a
way.
shot and it like exploded over some electrical equipment, so I'm just like wiping it down to just make sure we don't have any electrical fires here because that would not be good.
Please keep yourself safe. We do not want anyone electrified. Okay, my darlings, here we go. Algorithm. I know that we can't have, transparency is key. We can't have all the ham, but there's some basics that we know about what will give you a push in the algorithm. But what was asked earlier today is, DT, what does being pushed mean? Like, does that mean that you're
Yeah.
higher up in the
So
watch page?
that's definitely something I wanted to clarify because I was talking through this with Best Buy earlier today. But
Okay.
basic, yeah. Um, so basically, there's two metrics, right? There is total views, and then there's concurrent views. The number you see up here that says 454 right now, that is concurrent views. That is how many people are on the stream right now at the same time.
In the
Um,
watch page and in?
yeah.
Okay.
So the key difference in those two metrics is if you are on the For You page and you are being pushed, the number that goes up is total viewers. The concurrent viewer number is how many people stick around.
Right.
So in principle, like getting pushed does not guarantee that the concurrent viewer number goes up. Usually it correlates with it going up, but it doesn't always go up, right? Because
And
if you get 1,000 views over an hour, but people don't stick around, that's not going to be a very high concurrent viewer count,
right.
right?
Right.
So
So that's
yeah,
where we fall back on what you're providing that's something of value that makes people want to stay. But my question
well,
more
it's
specifically
whether or
was,
not people actually stay, which actually also like it just as much depends as on the viewer as it is the content,
right,
right?
right.
Uh, and that's not so that's where having a good algorithm in terms of suggestion comes in is how do you get more efficient at giving somebody people that are less likely to scroll by.
Okay, so the question then is when you're getting a push, are you getting uh, added higher up on the watch page for everyone? Are you just being pushed in front of like new viewers, people that hadn't seen you before? What is an actual push in the
So
algorithm?
I'll give you an example.
Okay,
If somebody has a battle that is going absolutely crazy, we have this metric called a live stream score, which sits for that specific live stream, which basically looks at are there interesting things happening within the last
right.
span of time. It looks at everything from like gifts to how active your comments are.
Yep.
By the way, in terms of like active comments, it does like spamming comments doesn't actually help. It's
Yes, the
for
unique.
fixes of like
Yeah.
and it also looks at things like if you are present on the For You page, how many people are scrolling by versus how many people are tapping in.
Okay, that's something I was not aware of. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that gives you your sort of like live stream score, which is the thing that outside of affinity, which is something that you build with your followers over time,
Right.
kind of determines like how high on somebody's feed you end up being.
Okay. So when
Um,
you're getting a
but
push,
yeah, there's two important things on that.
okay,
One is it is tied to a specific stream. If you reset the performance score completely resets.
exactly. Okay, we
Uh,
knew that from a month ago where we didn't want to reset the live anymore. We just wanted to switch up what we were doing, which is effectively resetting, right? So I'm co-hosting, then I'm going to change to boxes, then I'm going to change to games, whatever I'm changing in that same stream, right?
yeah. And we need to do a better job of like replenishing stuff within feed just to make sure that it is always like pushing in a useful way.
Right.
But I want yeah, the main thing I want to clarify is um doing well within the For You page is not the same thing as retaining people well.
Okay.
Uh which is important context in the sense of like I've had somebody ask me like, do you guys push megs? And the answer is no, we don't. Outside of the banner, right? Outside of the banner and people seeing that's going on, we don't actually really push you in the algo. Uh,
Thank you for
like
clarifying that. Black and white. Does Meg get special treatment outside of a banner because of the affiliate? No. Because I worked my butt off. I'm sitting on a pancake. There's
yeah,
no
so
butt
so
left.
so yeah. The element I want to clarify there is like before the stream, I checked like your stats versus some stats of other people that have been pushing. Like the total viewer count's actually pretty similar.
Okay. So the difference is retention.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go back to the, so I've got, let's keep on talking
The
about this.
difference is just more people end up staying on the stream.
Well, but let's talk
Whether
about,
that's people that already know you that are coming in from a notification that
or new
like
people.
want to stick around or not, right?
Right.
Like in theory, it's not the same if you get 200 people opening from a notification because they have your bell on versus 200 people scrolling by. The people that have your bell on are probably going to stick around a lot longer.
Right. Okay. Okay, that makes a difference. Well, I do want to touch on notifications, but let's stay on
Yeah.
algorithm for a little bit longer. So you said the push. Tell me if you can't tell me for proprietary or whatever, but what is an actual push? Like when you're getting pushed, when your live stream score is high, what does that mean? Does that mean that you're now higher up in the watch page? Does that mean that you're getting shown to other people? Like what does a push mean?
It just changes like a push basically just means more people will scroll by you on the For You page.
Okay, so you're getting shown to more people on For You. Is that on Discovery or Watch or both?
Watch page.
On Watch page.
Discovery
Okay.
page has its own separate thing, and that's usually correlated. That's actually a bit more heavily correlated towards gift volume on the general thing. But
Okay.
we're changing up the Discovery page so you can actually filter better by categories in terms of the
Okay.
things you want to watch.
Wait. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. The categories is something we've talked about. We had a really, so DT, you may not be aware, maybe you are, you know everything, but we had a really interesting Favorited Pro Learn and Grow Live yesterday where we just box chatted and we just talked a lot about people's feeling like they were not being successful here. They're working so hard and they're not seeing the kind of results that they hope to see. And they think it's the algorithm that's broken, or they think that maybe the traffic is being directed to favorite people, like the app has favoritism. So we talked about all these things, and I made a list of stuff that I wanted to touch on with you, knowing that I am not pushed out, and knowing my 9 months here, and the work and the sweat and the tears that I put into it, and knowing that we have transparency as a general rule from you guys, top to bottom, bottom to top, throughout. Like everyone
Yeah.
doesn't gatekeep.
For context, what I'm specifically saying is like you're like you have an advantage in terms of like versus like apps like brand new people in the sense of like you already have an established base,
Right.
and that contributes to actually like doing well in our current algorithm,
Okay.
right?
So a
Because
new person, that's why you guys are encouraging the boxes, the how to, the getting the followers first, and trying to establish yourself a little bit before you go live and have expectations of a large viewership, unless you're bringing your audience with you, right?
that's part of the reason. Yeah. It really kind of comes down to if somebody is going live, we don't want people to go live and not have any viewers.
Right,
Like that's not good for us either.
right. It
Like
feels really defeating.
it's just objectively like like nobody's happy about that. So
Yeah,
the idea of that is if you're basically coming to the app and you're like, I absolutely want to be live. I'm not here to watch anybody else. I want to be live.
yeah.
Go live with somebody. You know
Okay. Well, so we
that's
so we
that's kind of
talk about we talk about the co-hosting and the friendly battles, not necessarily as a way to battle, but as a way to get out in the community and get to know people and find friends and followers and
random
connect.
matchmaking is coming. By the way, somebody asked. That's Rob
Thank
Rachel.
you. And searchable co-hosting. But like, okay, so with studio, right? You've got
I'm
people
literally
that aren't
working on
able to
that today. By
do
the way, like
what?
I'm writing the code on those two specific features today.
On battle matching and
Yeah.
co-hosting searching?
Yep.
What does that mean exactly?
So basically, there's a new like co-host layout set up there, where there's okay. I have the design somewhere. I'm not gonna pull them up right now because I'm gonna spend a lot of time pulling it up right now. So I'm gonna do my best to recollect from my head.
Okay.
Basically, there's like there's two tabs in there. One is like the traditional kind of like suggested. The other one is
Right.
rankings. So if you are in the ranks, like it'll basically show you, hey, who's available to co-host. It's currently in ranks
Okay.
near you. Um, Within the suggested one, it'll show you like some suggested co-hosts, and it will also let you search co-hosts. Like there's
I
a
just
search
wanted
bar
to
on
say I'm
top.
69 in the ranks right now.
Yeah,
So
we
searchable
might not
co-host.
we might not launch with random matchmaking out of the box, but basically there's going to be a button on it that lets you randomly matchmake, and it's just and the way that would work is it'll try to pair you with somebody that hit that button as well.
Okay, so a couple questions though with those random matchmakings. My nervousness here, DT, you know me, I'm rated G. I hate starting a co-host with a battle because I feel like if the person is not my cup of
Yeah.
tea, that I
Well,
want to
you
disconnect.
don't have to do random matchmaking.
Well, but that's my question is there a way to not lose my nuggie if I feel like I don't want to battle the person?
Well, the random matchmaking is the co-host. You can determine if you actually want to battle them.
Okay, so it's a
But you still
co-host,
have to
not
like it's not random to like jump into a battle directly.
Okay. So it is random co-hosting, but it also there is
Only
the
for
random
co-hosting.
matchers
Yeah.
for bat. Okay, when you're
And
ready for it.
both people have to basically opt in to say I am joining something random.
Okay. Oh, an opt-in. Okay, I like
Well,
that.
it's like both people have to have pressed the button.
Okay, I'm really good at pressing buttons, so I'm gonna have fun with that. Okay, I'm so grateful for the conversation. Let's just finish up on the algorithm, you guys. This has
Sure.
been the one thing that everyone always wants to know is the algorithm. So we've talked a lot about this, DT. I know we have a lot of new friends here and people that haven't been able to watch the previous episodes on the Your Favorite Megs YouTube channel. You can click the link there.
Yeah.
But when we
Somebody said in the
talk,
chat, no algorithm. There is an algorithm. Is it working as well as it could be? Absolutely not. I'm going to be the very first to admit that it is absolutely not like where we want it to be at.
but the basics of the algorithm have really, the only thing that's changed has been the improvement of the affinity, right? Which we now have more control over, and then not having to reset the live, right? We still get
Yeah.
a push if the chat now is rolling with unique messages. If you have a lot of people, you're going to get more visibility. If you're ever in the ranks, you get
Yeah.
visibility. If you have consistency or like time, like a
Yeah.
good pattern in your gifting or a big gifting coming in, you get visibility. You get a little push for being verified as a streamer.
Yeah.
You get visibility for the affinity score, right? And then you get more visibility or push. If you're changing up what's in your live. But I think ultimately what I'm hearing and what I felt in my heart and what I've recognized in my own stream is if you're providing a stream of value, not that if you don't have views, you're not valuable, but what the community that you're being shown to wants. If that's not something that they want to stick around for, nothing personal, maybe they're not for it today, they're not going to stay. So what you were just talking about, DT, is a better way to get categorization so that you are put in front of people that are interested in what you're offering, right?
Yeah. That's something that what we're there's a couple of things we're going to do on categorization. One of those things is when people sign up, we're basically going to ask, we're going to try to get like a better sort of understanding from zero, like what kind of things they do want to watch.
Right.
So the idea is going to be like if somebody doesn't want to see your content, like we don't necessarily like want to
We
send
don't
you
want to
somebody
set you up
that's
for
going to skip
failure.
by anyways. It's not a good
Right.
experience for anybody.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And with the categorization, right? Is
Yes.
that something that,
I have one other thing on the
yeah,
algorithm
please.
that I think is important to clarify, and also has a bit of tidbit that I think people may or may not be excited about. That's for the people to decide. But it is definitely a bit trickier to build an algorithm on live streams. Videos are much easier to build an algorithm around because a video is a video; it never changes. So it is much easier to have a static set of data on like in an algorithm on videos, versus a live stream is something that is always changing. You actually
Right.
don't ever know what's going on in the live stream until you hop into the live stream
So you're
itself.
there. Right.
So the best thing we can do on live streams is kind of just like say, oh, okay, you watch similar stuff, okay. But there's going to be some interesting elements there as well. So we do have a roadmap for putting content on the watch page.
So when you say content, do you mean flips or stories?
Recorded video content specifically. It's going to start with stories showing up on the For You page.
Okay. So stories on the For You. So like scrolling through the watch page. We talked about this before we first talked about
where you
stories.
scroll on it, and if you're live, you'll be able to like
Yeah.
tap in and go to somebody's stream.
So you can be discoverable when you're not live because your story, your flip is somewhere in the watch page. We've talked about
Also,
that.
if you are live and somebody scrolls to your story in the watch page, it'll like have an indicator that you are live, and people can jump to
Okay.
then there.
I love that. We that was one of the initial,
Yeah.
the ideas of stories was that you had that. Are you discussing having an increased time limit on the story, or the fact that it's not going to expire?
Potentially. So it's a bit of a ramp up there.
Okay.
So stories are just kind of the easiest thing for us to put in within a reasonable span of time because
Sure.
we're not building out too much existing infrastructure. You are
You're
able to
already
post
doing
stories
it.
already. So it's something that we can have in the feed already.
Okay.
Permanent content is something that's a few weeks after that is the target on that. Where we would actually have to, where you'd actually be able to have some. Well, so I just got the Mechanical Chicks gift, and I've actually never seen that gift.
Yeah, I heard the. Don't forget me. He's so cute.
but yeah, permanent content. Once again, we're also like content's not going to be an immediate rollout of just suddenly like everybody can just like post content or anything.
Are you going to have any kind of editor app within Favorited, or just it's going to be pre-made?
That's gonna be a ramp up to it. It's we're gonna ship the minimal amount of things that we need to get it working first.
Wait, wait, wait. Did I just hear you? Wait, did I just hear you say flips in discoverable feed first, ramping up to permanent content, ramping up to video editing, all here
Video
on
editing is
Favorited?
something I can definitely not give you a timeline on.
But you're, but you're,
I don't even know the first thing about
okay.
what we need to do to get that.
Okay. So let's table video editing for a much further future conversation and just back up the DeLorean here a little bit to flips on the Discover page. And if you're live, you can go right in to permanent content. Where would that be housed? Is that going to be on our profile?
It would be on your profile and then discoverable in the watch page.
Wait.
But before everybody gets too excited, the rollout on that is like we have to be very careful about it because we don't just want like we want to make sure that like we have a very high standard for like
Right.
content on the app, and
Okay.
we want to fine tune all this stuff. So like,
So are we still discussing permanent content being rolled out depending on your verification level, or is this going to be
yes,
app-wide?
that's going to be the role. That's
Okay.
going to be the progression to get there.
Okay, so it's kind of
otherwise we risk we get another slight spike, and now we have to deal with an influx of
exploding apps, right? The 2v2s I keep on seeing.
just like at scale moderating all this stuff is this whole other thing.
Right.
But the main thing is like when people are downloading the app and wanting to see something on the app, we want to make sure that we are serving quality content to users.
I appreciate that for sure, especially, the vibe that I keep on seeing the 2v2 question rolling through. I think the answer is the same as last week soon, right?
I can give you an update on the 2v2s.
Okay.
If you see a staff member testing 2v2s, do not freak out.
So will that mean that I can go in and play 2v2s if I see somebody else doing it, or is it just
No.
okay.
Right now we're running internal testing on it.
Okay, so we might see 2v2s on the app, but they're not officially here yet. It just means that it's getting closer and closer.
Yeah, so there's the two. So for context, I literally after this I need to talk to Best Buy because I told Best Buy I would figure out his gift gallery. But after that, I'm basically locking myself in a room until 2v2s are done.
Well, please, for the love of pineapple on your pizza, I hope that that's no more than 6 hours, because you locked in a room by yourself is not what we want, DT. We want you in the sunshine and healthy and not sequestered.
I have natural light.
Well, I mean, you are a light, my darling. If I'm honest, you are a light. Okay, thank you so much, Bald Guy. Thank you, my darling, for the J-Balls. Okay, so algorithm is where we started. This is like a Simpsons episode. We woke up, we had our breakfast cereal, and we've landed in Tokyo at the end of the day. This is insane. Thank you so much for the rolling. Thank you, my darling. So, 2v2's coming very soon.
Somebody asked something about Best Buy. I'm talking to Best Buy because he has an issue where his gift gallery isn't loading. I'm trying to figure out exactly what's causing it.
Well, and let's just back it up for a second and just say the name Best Buy Baby yet again, because remember, you guys, the reason why his gift gallery is frozen is because he keeps on breaking the app with his incredible prowess of being amazing.
Also, to clarify, to clarify, when I the timeline on content, I was saying several weeks between when we would have stories on the feed and starting to experiment with more.
I mean, the fact that when we first talked about flips, right? Flips are the stories, right? When we first talked about it, we talked about eventually comments, taps for likes, regular gifting, being discoverable when you're not live in the watch page. So that's nothing like news breaking. What for me, what it is the way that you're explaining now. Thank you, Rich. Is that we had talked about permanent content pretty much being your flip that doesn't expire. if you're a certain level of verified, right? So now what I'm hearing is it's kind of the same thing. What was the big?
Chris, a flip is a story.
It's a story. It's your favorited video clip, your flip.
Yeah, nobody.
You want to call him a flav? Your
sure.
flav? Your flava flav? Sure, your flav, whatever. You know, your thing that you do. Okay. Thank you, Richie. So there's nothing specifically like new there except for your comment about maybe like the weeks between instead of years between, and then the idea of maybe sometime in the future, having some kind of video.
Yeah,
editor.
for to give you guys a bit more context on like what our most immediate things are right now. As I mentioned earlier, 2v2s. I'm literally locking myself in a room. Fareed is bringing me food and water. Um, and that's kind of the move there.
You just take good care of
There's a couple of
yourself.
things that are very like that have been very close for a minute. We just need to like wrap them up. One of those things is subscriptions.
Yeah.
As I think I mentioned this last time, with subscriptions, the goal is basically there's going to be so subscriptions are going to start at you keep 70% of your subscription. If you are sufficiently active on the app, you will be able to see that within the subscription itself. You will be able to keep 100% of your subscriptions. Like
So
we will not have a platform fee on it.
so and the subscription does not those monthly dues do not contribute to your rankings
No,
or any kind of podium. Then
they do
the
not.
other question then is with the flips, with gifting on the flips, will there be separate rankings for content if you're
Potentially,
getting
yes.
gifted? Okay. All right. So clearing that up.
I don't have a
2v2.
timeline on that yet. I
Okay.
think we are going to see stories on the For You page before we see separate story rankings.
Will we be able to gift on the stories big before we see the separate rankings?
Somebody says chat has frozen.
Chad has frozen.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's frozen on my screen, but I am seeing messages coming through on this screen.
Well, the last message I see is from Pinch Me Zach, staying active and attractive. Very good advice. Sage advice, Zach. Sage advice.
Yeah, we have a lot of stuff to fix on chat, including like some random stuff getting filtered, which honestly I don't think is a specific filter rule. I think we have an implementation issue with how messages are written to database.
What's the character limit on chats?
I actually do not know that off the top of my head.
Okay. So, because there was not one before. There's definitely one now.
Yeah.
It would be nice to have just a suggestion. Guys, put it in feedback if you like it. Feedback.favorited.com. A suggestion where you could have the number of characters left, or that you're over by 3, -3 on the profile pages too, because there's a character limit on the profile, like when you're building out your bio, but we don't know what it is. Oh, there comes the chat.
Yeah. There's the chat.
Okay, chat's moving now. Okay, so I was just mentioning Best Buy Baby. The reason why he has no gift gallery is because he has unlocked the next prestige after
Yes.
Galactic. He
Yeah.
has been.
For context, I think we have the if Mike's listening to this one, or if somebody that is around Mike is listening to this one, please tell Mike and
Excuse
Virgil that
me,
their gift is ready.
Crystal. Please don't say that word at all when I'm around in my stream. Thank you. You owe me a speed demon. It's rated G.
Wait, what word?
The F word, the big fat F word.
Oh,
Um,
favorite it?
no, that's the glowing,
Oh.
sparkling F word. The big fat ugly one. Not saying that fat is ugly, but that F word is ugly and fat and ugly. Okay. Okay, let's talk about advertising. Okay, so everyone is really, really loving. Well, all right. We love Favorited. This is the place for people who love to love. This is the app for people who love to love. These people are incredible, amazing creators, and we're so grateful that every single one of us is here and having this opportunity to build Favorited. But we want more. We want more people to find us. And I know that Favorited has been advertising to get people. Can you tell us anything about how we're being advertised, where we're being advertised, and what? Thank you, India, my gorgeous sister. Thank you.
We're actually changing up some stuff on that. If you like, we pulled back a little bit of spend on that as we like change up our creative a little bit to be more effective. But
Okay.
we're gonna be relaunching some stuff, and Fareed's on top of it.
In between feeding and watering you, he's on top of the marketing of Favorited.
Yeah, Fareed probably sleeps about as much as I do.
Well, it's not enough. It's not enough. I know he was on all crazy hours this morning. Well, okay, so with regard to advertising then, like I know that I have seen advertisements for favorited on TikTok and on Instagram. I'm not on any other social media. I'm just here basically, but
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, like, is there a way, if there's a way, like if favorited puts out an ad, are we able to take that and then make our own echoing the message, like come to favorited because it's freedom of speech, or come to favorited because of the 70%? Like, what is it
Yeah.
that favorited is pushing that we could help with?
Uh, I am going to let Fareed answer that one.
Okay.
So Fareed did something yesterday where he hosted some boxes. We had a couple hundred people in there. I hopped in there, but I was basically in bed already asleep, so I just saw that he was doing it. Not like I didn't have a chance to tune in. Um, but Fareed's gonna be doing a couple more of those throughout the week.
Awesome.
And I think that's something I would love for him to address there.
Awesome. Okay, no problem. I will not push you on that, my darling. Okay, so notifications, right? We know that the
Yeah.
notifications are still a little buggy. It's something that we talked about last week. As a matter of fact, on my flip today, Advertising Wisdom Wednesday, I did a little clip about the Lucky promotion, the pot of gold, and the one about notifications, because that's what everybody wanted to talk about last week, right?
Martin's like, holy crap. Fareed's like staring me down. Like, why did I make him commit to this?
There's no commitment for each. Just next time you go live,
No,
plan on
Fareed's doing it.
everyone
Fareed's doing
piling
it.
in.
Fareed's doing it.
Are you still planning on doing your Sportscast Sunday, DT, where you pop on and
Oh,
do it yourself?
my support. Yeah, I have dropped the ball on that. I 100% need to do that. I think, yeah, no, I was traveling this weekend. I literally just had flown back. I was hanging out with the founder of YouTube. I just flown back.
Name dropped it. Just
Like on
founder of YouTube.
Sunday, but
I mean, not a big deal. He just knows the founder of YouTube. Hanging out over
no,
the
he
weekend.
he invested in the app, so
And
that's
favorited?
yeah.
Were we not supposed to know? Did we? Is that private information we just were disclosed?
Don't talk about it.
Um, cool. Okay. We are at our 30 minutes. Do you want to pop over, or do you want to take just a couple more?
Let's run through a couple more things.
Okay.
Like I'm not like I'm gonna be very upfront. We have over the last few months said we were going to deliver a lot of stuff, and we haven't delivered all that we've said we've delivered. So the least I can do is stay on and try to answer a couple more of these, and then hop into Q&As and run
Thank
through
you,
some
my
more
darling.
stuff.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Thank you so much. Okay, so a couple more of these. Ultimately, the hot topics were going to be the algorithm, the advertising, the notifications, and then the content, which you have absolutely blown open for us. The content is going to be a big, big, big buzz around the app. But I want to touch more again on the something of value with the algorithm, right? So again, being pushed in the algorithm, we know that we still have those basic things. You guys have said it's not working as perfectly as you're wanting to. Like, you want to hone it and make sure that it's just
I mean, we always want to make it better, but I'm also
right,
first to admit that it's nowhere near where we want it to be at.
right. But
If all this stuff was at where we want it to be at, we wouldn't be
we
having
would
this
be,
discussion.
yeah, worldwide, and we'd have trillions of users, and everyone would be rolling in the dough and all that. Analytics, my darlings, analytic reports will be coming, but we have to wait for our activities feed to be built into an inbox so that those can be deliverable. So it's coming. Analytics are coming.
That's one of them. The other element is a better like after stream screen.
Yeah, your recap, right?
Yeah.
Are we ever going to have a recordings of our live stream like archived where we can go back and snip and clip our own videos?
Yes.
Is that going to be app wide or just depending on your verification level?
It's gonna roll out to verification level first.
Okay, verification level first.
Yeah.
But that would be lovely to be able to have, right, the recording of the entire stream for however many days you can go in and clip and make your highlights.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay.
I think the goal with a lot of like this clipping and stuff is similar to what we did for the pot of gold, is actually on our end being able to determine like, hey, here's like cool highlights. So
Right.
it's like if like you're part of like the idea is going to be if you are literally part of a moment of a stream that's really cool, that you can actually see that clip.
Okay, so it's not going to be like I'm live for 12 hours. I'm not going to have a 12-hour recording of my whole life.
Well, that's separate. I'm saying like our goal as well is to like, yes, you can have that 12-hour recording, but at the same time, like where we also want to be at is that you don't have to look through 12 hours of
Right.
reports.
Right. It's okay. So big gifts that you received, or when you had something crazy happen with the number of views, or your chat started to roll, something exciting like that.
Something like that.
Okay. All right. I love that. Well, so the pot of gold clips, we know that they didn't work all the time, but absolutely loved when they did. Speaking of pot of gold, they were going to ask any ETA on getting that gift given to those that found it on the leaderboards. And speaking of, any ETA on November, December. No ETA.
Jeremy, if you're listening on this, can we try to slot that in for end of next week?
Thank you, my darlings. And then any kind of teaser, any updates for a community event for April or May?
Not yet.
Okay. I mean,
That is not my element to share right
well,
now.
if it's me, right? If it's me,
I'm leaking a lot of stuff already. It's
well, you spilled your drink
Matt
to
is
begin
standing
with. It
outside. I
was
think he's
gonna
about
be
to film you.
leaky. I teased we were spilling tea today. It's fine. If it were me, and I think the majority of chat agrees, the community events are amazing and so much fun, and we love them. But if it means taking you guys away from 2v2s, algorithm, advertising, more activity on the app, like we'd much rather have beta be worked on than community events that may take you away. Agreed, chat? I mean, we want your highest and best use, right? Not that we don't, we can make our own fun. If somebody wants a cream pie gift, just let me have the cream pie in the face right now. We'll just,
I mean, events give us something to do, but it's always just like we still have to make sure the app works.
Right. And I do appreciate that. Thank you, Alpha. Often a lot of the events that we do are kind of to help testing, right? So like the pot of gold, part of that was testing for clips, right? And same thing with the community back in November. Now we have the different chat stuff. A veterans badge, a veterans badge or collectible badges is definitely on the road. As a matter of fact, DT,
Sure.
You said roadmap a couple times. We do have a roadmap on the interwebs. It's just not all inclusive, right?
It is not all inclusive.
But like a lot of the basics that are always asked, like sharing the live or private messages or 2v2, like those are on the website, on the roadmap. Feedback.favorited.com. Click on roadmap and you can see. You had mentioned 2 lives ago incentives for being on podium outside of having a medal. Do you have any additional information on that?
Not yet, but that's something we definitely want to do. It's like if you invest the time in spending time on this app and you push on this app, even if you're not podium, like yeah, there should be something.
Okay, good, because I'm never on podium, man. That's amazing. I love that. But also, I love.
Yeah, at the same time, like we're not going to dilute the value of anybody that has hit podium,
Right.
or that anybody
So,
that's hit podium.
right.
So it's more about like what additional value can we provide.
Okay. Okay. I love the visibility and the faithful way that you guys are trying to ensure that every creator here gets a fair shake. But I do love, right? We have OGs here. We have people that have been here putting in the hours and the work that are feeling overshadowed and less important than the new shiny TikToker that may come over and stay for a day or two and then leave. And I know that that's something we've talked about. We've talked about maybe an OG search or an OG podium. We've talked about, more visibility for people. So the fact that you've said subscriptions, you could keep more of that profit if you are, active on the app or having an incentive for community involvement. I think that that's a way that you can honor those of us that have been here for a really long time putting in the work, right?
Yeah. No, and somebody brought up March Madness, and we definitely did not I definitely don't think that event was like up to the standard that we wanted to run it at. Like we want events like that to be additive to the app and not
Not cause contention.
shadowing everything.
Well, bottom line, there's this terrible illness of comparison on social media, and it's something that we try and stay away from as much as possible. But ultimately, it's human nature. When you see someone doing very well and you think to yourself, why is that not me? And it can be either a motivating experience or one that's detrimental to the mental health. So we want to make sure everybody knows, no matter what happens, your value and your worth has nothing to do with anything you've ever done, currently do, or could ever do in the future. It is absolutely priceless. It never changes. You're worth the same as anyone else, no matter what happens.
I do want to clarify one element. and that is, if we're saying we're going to deliver on some stuff and we're not delivering on it, you are within every single right to call me out on it, call us out on it.
respectively, respectfully, and with
I mean, at the end of the day, we're responsible for how a lot of people make money.
sure,
Frustration's understandable. Like,
sure, but
like
I don't think it's ever
no,
appropriate for anyone
I'm
to
saying
berate.
it's a lot more productive to do it respectfully, but at the same time, I'm not going to get mad if there's a little bit of emotion behind it.
Well,
I can't
because
blame anybody.
you're much nicer than me. I will not put up with it. Time out. But my darlings, what about filters? DT filters.
That is coming with a video engine rewrite that I've been talking about it for a bit.
You have. So can we just clarify the filters that you're talking about to
but it's not
start?
at the same time. You'll see the video engine update, which you will literally uh, when that's in, you will literally look at the app and it will just look different. Like the colors will just be brighter. It'll just
Okay.
popping out a lot more
Okay.
without filters.
Okay, so the video improvement, that's also going to improve the drain of memory. Like right now, if we're watching boxes, it's taking a lot more power on the phone devices and getting hot.
That's the goal with it.
Okay.
We'll actually have to run the test to side by side to see what the actual improvements are. But
I mean, I love looking fantastic and being able to say no filter, but then knowing that I'm really looking my best and it's not what I look
yes,
like
I
in the
also
mirror.
sometimes want to be a potato.
I mean, that's my question though. So we initially talked about filters being more of a green screen where you can have a permanent, you can change up a sticker or something on your live, or do a picture instead of you and still be pushed out, not having your camera turned off.
That's the most basic level of it, which we will
Okay.
probably have that before we have an entire assortment of filters, right? Because filters isn't just oh, you have filters. There's what kind of filters do you have? Right. There's the engine itself, and then there's the filters themselves.
So we were talking about just kind of general smoothing filters. Are you guys now discussing potato head filters, actual augmentation filters?
It depends. We'll see. We might work with some of the stuff that Snapchat has, in which case we might. I know the guy that made the potato filter because I worked with him at my last company, so I can shoot him a note and just be like, "Hey, can you
No.
do this potato filter?"
Can you know what then? I just preference here, and I think I'm going to have this upvoted. If someone is utilizing Snapchat or actual filters, they can go in a different algorithm or different category than the
What do you
filter
have
free.
against potatoes?
I mean, potato. I don't want to be catfished again. It was terrible.
It's a potato. How are you getting catfished by? It's literally a potato.
It's so sweet and tasty, and they don't tell you how many carbs, and then it needs so much butter. I don't even know. I'm telling you, you can definitely be catfished by a potato. My daughter, justice for the cat.
Yeah. Also, I know we're talking about algorithm, and I'm gonna wrap some stuff up. So, because I know you had some other things you wanted to talk about. Another note a lot of people brought up with Reed last night was the follow requirement to go live.
Okay.
We're considering increasing it. Increasing it would impact specifically new users that are coming onto the platform. If you've already hit it and you've gone live, we're not gonna just change the goalposts.
Okay, so let me stop right there. Everyone's freaking out. Let's stop. First of all, when you say if you already have that number, yes, of course. But what if you don't have that number and you've already gone live? Are we going to be grandfathered in, or is it going to be?
If you've already gone live, that's the idea.
Okay.
The idea is it would affect new users signing up from a specific period of time.
Okay. Now, is this a temporary or is this a permanent? And are we talking huge increase or just minor increase? Because this is one of the fake news.
It's probably not going to start as too big of an increase. We're going to increase it, see how that impacts metrics. If people start seeing a lot more, if people start
Red Brown,
seeing more viewers,
Red Brown, please do not swear in my live, Red Brown. You're going on the swear list. Look at you. Look at you, you naughty. Quit it. Rated G. Okay, so let's talk about then one more thing. We had some conversations surrounding going live, not increasing the follower count, but maybe increasing other requirements like time in boxes or acknowledging community guidelines. Will those still apply in addition to increased counts? And can you give us any idea of numbers that you're talking initially or timeframes?
we're probably gonna run some tests like pretty soon on increasing those numbers. They're not gonna increase by that much at first, just because we like if we're suddenly putting it to like 1,000 followers,
Right.
then people are just not gonna be able to stream. So we have
So,
like for us we have to like see how that impacts things. If we're getting like positive impacts out of it, people are starting to see more people in their streams, great, and that's something that we focus a bit more on.
okay.
If,
Are you going to do it with, are you going to do it with, I don't know, I'm just kind of trying to think about how we would be able to present this. I agree. The idea definitely has merit, and I appreciate that we want to test it first. But how would it be tested? Like you would just say for one week, if you join the app, then you can't go live unless you have 100 followers, and we'll see what happens. Or
well,
will
no,
that
that,
be
that 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 would be like new people that are signing up on the app and
right?
trying to go live. Right now, we
So
say you need 25 followers to have a solo live. We could change it to say by the way, hypothetically 50. I'm not saying that that's a final number
okay,
at all. I'm just
okay,
saying hypothetically.
okay. So we're doing our favorited pro learn and grow, and we say 25 followers to go live, but you need a whole lot more than that to be visible in the algorithm
Well,
consistently.
here's the thing: for people that are new coming onto the app, like spend some time on the app.
Right,
Like visit some of the people that have been spending a lot of time on this app that like you can learn a thing or two.
right. Okay. All right. Well, we will wait for more information, but right now, as right now, 100% right now, it's not changed. It's not changing as of right now. Potentially in the future, it could increase
No, I'm saying that's an experiment that we're probably going to run within the next week.
in the next week.
Just given the fact like we've gotten on Freed's stream yesterday, that was like one of the biggest points brought up to us, and
Too
you
many
know,
people going live and not enough people watching.
I mean it's a very valid issue to highlight.
I mean, if we have 1.5 million users and we have 20,000 going live every minute, right? There absolutely is not. We've got more creators than users because everyone's going live. We get it.
I mean that
But
was part of the reason to like push people into boxes if they really want to go live. Because it's like you can go live. You're just going live with other people in there. You're guaranteed to not be dealing with 0 viewers.
so we're still going to let them go in boxes without any followers.
Yeah.
Okay. And my other question then is, I know that Favorited loves to just kind of magically just do stuff. All of a sudden, something's going to appear. Is this something that we can have affirm as of right now, new users, so that when we are teaching people, we're not giving incorrect information, or where somebody comes through and says, "I heard it's 1,000 followers now," and I don't know if it is or not because it's magically going to change in a week for testing. So do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't want to give you a specific time and then not have that.
Well, don't give me a time. Just tell me
Yeah.
before it's changed. You'll tell us the number and the date. Like we're ready to roll this out today or tomorrow, right? Just let us know so that we can make sure that we're giving correct news and not fake news.
Yeah.
Okay. Suggestions are 1,000 to 5,000, by the way.
That's a good amount of followers.
I mean, I'd love for everyone to have that many. Okay, so we have taken your time, my darling. If you want to pop over here for Q&A, I know there's a lot of questions.
Were there were there any other things?
There's so many, but I don't want to. I mean, there's so many.
Yeah, I mean, let's just like go through the high level stuff that we
Okay.
have covered.
All right. So we talked about algorithm extensively, you guys. I'm
Yeah.
screen recording this. I'll snip it. I'll clip it. I'll put it in the YouTubes. So I don't want to go back to algorithm right now. We talked about content as well. We talked about advertising. We're going to go to Freed on those questions. We talked about notifications. So the number one issue outside of the algorithm is, again, the notifications. People aren't getting notified. One of the reasons that that's an issue, though, is because people are still like resetting their live. If you stop resetting your live so much and just change up what you do in the live for a refresh, your notifications won't be buried as much as they are currently being buried.
There's a couple of problems with that, right? Which is if you're resetting constantly, everybody that has your bell on is getting your notification over and over and over again. Which the more of a single type of notification you get, the less likely you are to open it. But yeah, it's a number of things.
Okay.
Notifications are something that should not be taken lightly in terms of the impact of notifications. Like,
Right.
if somebody gets a notification, you want them to open it. If people get a ton of notifications, they're not nearly as valuable anymore.
Right. They're going to get annoyed with you and just turn off notifications completely. Also, right, the issue with people getting notified that you're live, they click on it and they're sent into someone else's live is still
Yeah.
happening. Okay.
That it's a very like I'm still trying to figure out exactly what's causing that one specific issue. It is very, very,
Well,
very,
I
very,
tell you what, nothing
very
feels
annoying.
worse. Nothing feels worse than
Yeah.
going through your live, doing your thing, and having somebody come in the chat saying, everyone is clicking on my notification and they're being sent to you, Megs. What's going on?
Yeah. So
If
specifically
you're
the issue
here for
that's
somebody else,
yeah,
leave.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I can clarify. So the exact thing that is happening is what the bug seems to be is person A goes live, person A's notification goes out, then person B goes live, and person B's notification goes to the same person. Somebody opened person's A notification, they end up on person B.
Got it. Okay.
It's not random. It's not random.
It's not random. Okay. Well, that makes me feel a little bit better. And it's a timing thing. But still, okay. Thank you for acknowledging and for it's still an issue. It's not working the way that you hope, and ultimately it needs to work the way that it's supposed to work. Okay, payments. Next on the list is going to be payments. Split payments, split payouts, international and PayPal. We always talk about it. Has there been any movement this week on payments?
No. Still waiting to hear some stuff back on PayPal.
Okay. And again, PayPal, it's nothing to do with us. It's the amount that of paperwork that you have to do. You fill something out that generates another request for something else that generates
It
another request.
is it is unfortunately very annoying to deal with very large companies.
Right. Dixie Cowboy says, "Why is payout set to manual? That's not what you think it
It's not
is."
actually manual. Manual just means that we have our own automation running on it. Stripe's automatic actually will hold in some cases will hold the payout for an additional 7 days if it's set to automatic, which is why it's set like it's not actually manual. It's manual or API, which basically means that we have like a system on our end that pushes it instead of Stripe decides on their end when
When
they're
it
going
goes
to.
out. Yeah, so there's definitely automation, but the automation is favored. It's
Yeah,
automation, not Stripes. Okay.
automatic almost universally actually makes it slower on Stripe.
Okay. Everyone
Especially
always asks about. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Oh, well, everybody asks about the moderator function ability, right? Like, when can moderators do this? When can moderators do that? It's on the roadmap. It's in the works. Can you just touch on the things that moderators will be able to do when that build out is completed?
Yeah, the main thing is going to be we're going to have a secondary like you're going to have levels to moderators. You can basically say this moderator has the permission to bring somebody up into a box. That moderator will be able to invite people from chat into a box. They will also be able to see the guest requests and invite people from there.
So you'll have different level moderators. Right now, there's no limit to the number of moderators you assign. Is that eventually going to be implemented, or is there going to be a requirement to only have like one head moderator in a live per time?
So generally speaking, we don't really see a reason to do that. I am sure somebody at some point is going to
You're going to
find a
break
way to
it,
give us a reason to do that.
right? Right. We usually do. We like to poke holes in it. Okay. So again,
We have
moderators being able to
really
do all
broken
that.
chat. That's not great.
Completely frozen. Completely frozen. For moderators to be able to do that, we're still waiting for the part of that is the chat rebuild, right? So when we
Yeah,
have
part of it.
so pinning comments,
For
pinning
pinning things, the
gifts.
comment that requires some work on chat on our end.
Okay. Um, the slow mode and okay. So here's something that came up. Actually, it's part of accessibility, but it's also part of the chat as well, right? So someone with vision impairment that needs to have a larger keyboard or needs to have the increased font size. Will the increased keyboard size be part of chat, or is that going to be completely different as well?
So keyboard's actually set by system. It's not set on our end.
Okay, so there's no way for us to increase the size of the
Like
keyboard.
the keyboard itself is going to be set on iOS or Android. That's a phone level setting.
Okay, so what my phone level setting has rotate view. So if I flip my phone to the side, it changes, but the app doesn't do that. Is that going to be something that's built in?
That's different. I'm saying so the keyboard on
Yeah.
iOS is a system view. Like it's not part of the app. It is something that's made by Apple, and Apple determines how that shows up.
Well, so okay, so I
But like
totally understand
phone
that.
rotation, the app can basically say I don't like this app works in portrait only.
Okay, and will it ever work in landscape?
Some elements at some point potentially.
Okay.
really kind of comes down like the streams generally speaking. If they're side by side like this, the landscape like we have to come up with a new layout for landscape.
Okay.
For different
So the keyboard size has nothing to do with favorite. It has to be done in your phone, and as big as you can make it. It may cover up other things, but it is what it is because it's your phone setting.
It's on us to basically make the app like work with different layouts that you could have on your phone. Um, but I'm saying like the keyboard size itself comes down to
Okay.
the phone.
Comes down
Like
to your
we
phone.
can change like different elements in the UI so that they position better. But that's really just on our end requires extensive testing.
Okay. The other thing with regard to accessibility then is going to be the audio prompt, right? Someone that's that's visual impaired that needs it read out to them or needs to be able to give, if they're vision impaired, they need to be able to give audio prompts like chat this person this word kind of thing. I know that's really, really big stuff that needs to happen.
Yeah.
The precursor to those is the translation services with chat, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of things that need to get like redone with chat.
Okay.
Starting with the fact that it broke in this stream is not good.
Well, a couple of times.
A couple, yeah.
Okay, so Happy
It's
Son
not
has
supposed to
the
do that.
Happy Son has the same issue. When he screen records when he's live, he doesn't get any audio. My darling, that is a phone system thing and not an app thing, right?
No, it's an app thing. It's specifically it is about how an SDK like and like it's not code that we wrote that does that, but it is something that is in the app.
Okay. Is that something that can be changed in the app so that I can screen
Yes,
record on the
like
same device?
we need to change the SDK that we're using.
Okay. Any ETA on that?
That's part of the video engine.
Oh, it is. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, that's good. That's good. All right, we always hear about box glitches. We know that the majority of the glitches that we experience in boxes have to do with our own phone system or Wi-Fi.
It's a
Last time,
combination of a couple of things. One of those things is the SDK is really bad at noticing when somebody just like briefly disconnects versus when somebody actually loses connection. So one of the elements there is it is incorrectly reporting to our backend that somebody is no longer connected to the internet.
okay, so that's part of
Um,
the video rebuild as well.
that's part of it, yeah.
Okay, I'm hearing that Android users are having a worse time of it, like when they leave the app for anything. You know,
Yeah,
they just swipe away to recharge or share the live, like they're kicked out every time.
interesting.
Yeah, getting confirmation there. Yes. Yep. Yes. It doesn't, it only, I've got an iPhone. It doesn't kick me out every time, but if I go over and change my audio, if somebody calls me,
Yeah,
I come back to the app, then I can't turn the volume
got it.
down all the way again.
Yeah,
Christmas.
there's also on Android that same exact SDK by the way on Android has this thing where it uses phone audio, and
Yeah.
I am like beyond myself as to like we basically brought this up with the developer of the SDK among other things, and they have not fixed it at all. And like, yeah, so yeah, there's I'm not thrilled about that at all. Which is part of the reason that we are actually like updating our audio and like our video audio engine among other things.
Chat seems to be catching up a little bit, but let's just take a second, chat. What's your favorite color, DT? Black? White? Purple?
Well, the first one that you said, the saying goes, "You never go back after it." But
Yep, that black licorice. You're going to love it. Can we have some black hearts in the chat for DT to applaud him for, first of all, being here for extra time today, and second of all, absolutely keeping us on the tracks, right? Even though we might be a little bumpy, like we're still on the upward trajectory, my darlings. This is the app for people who love to love, run by people who are working so hard to ensure that we have a lovely time. Thank you, DT. Thank you so much.
right. Sorry, I'm looking at this as well. Um, Yeah, I mean, if there's anything else, we can cover that right now, or I can hop
Yeah.
over and do Q&A.
Okay, just two more things then. Two
All
more
right.
things. Okay, we talked about studio. So we teach, the engaging in the community, doing the friendly battles. Of course, we can't battle right now in studio. So do you have any suggestions for those people that are using studio, how they can organically connect with the community outside of the battle game? Do other games work when they
We
co-host?
need to add battles to Studio.
I mean, yeah, but is there
Yeah.
anything they can do between now and then?
Uh,
No, none of the other games work, right? Like they can't do
yeah.
meme or okay.
That sounds like an us problem that we need to fix.
I mean, we're asking them to test studio for us. Oh, hold on, JB said. You can co-host. Yes, you can co-host. Yes, JB, you're right. We can co-host. You just can't play games. So when you're co-hosting, like you can't see each other's streams, can you? Or can you? Like when you're co-hosting on Studio, if I'm playing a game and sharing my screen, could you see what I was doing?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so that's something that they could do, right? You guys could kind of comment on each other's ability to
Yeah, inbox is
fire.
coming, by the way. Somebody said inbox needed.
Okay, yeah, no, you're suffering in ranks because you can't battle. I get that for sure, Street Fighter. Yeah. Can I ask, how do you get out of an agency that you did not join? Okay, so
Yeah, there's you email agencies@favorited.com if you were in an agency and you need to leave an agency. We're gonna basically have more of a protocol on like how you can actually opt out in app, but yeah.
yeah, well, the in-app notification that you've joined is coming when the inbox comes too, though, right? And that's going to help. Okay, a couple other things then. Bullet points. Oh my gosh, there's so much. Driving mode we don't have yet, but
Not yet.
you're not being booted for driving. You just have to make sure that you're doing it responsibly, so your eyes are on the road and your hands are on the wheel.
Yeah,
And
your stream will like mods will take action generally speaking, if you are driving and paying attention to a screen. Like
okay,
if you're not paying attention to the road, like that's the instruction there.
last thing I'm going to ask then is going to be the report button.
Yeah.
Is it being moved today?
Yes. Today? We're not.
No,
We don't have a build coming out today.
Oh.
But is it being moved? Yes, it needs to be because. 1 second. You guys know the line. What's the line?
Write it down, Eric. Write that down.
There it is. Yep.
Well, I think Eric wrote it down
You wrote
2
it down.
weeks ago.
Well, you wrote it down again.
Well, but here's the thing. Writing it down is amazing. Let's get her done. It's just I'm fine with it. I just get yelled at a lot.
He just
for
threw
it.
his notebook across the office.
Eric, I love you so much. I'm gonna get you and squish it, squeeze it. I love you. By the way,
No,
can't wait to get my.
Don't squish Eric. He's still
No.
useful to us.
No, I'm gonna squish, like totally squish. Also, I will be in the flesh at VidCon in Anaheim, June 19th through the 21st. Everyone can go, anyone can go. Go to the VidCon website. It's not a favorited event, but favorited will have a presence. I don't know if it's a CE or TS presence or presence.
I don't know how many presents we'll have.
But definitely anyone can go. You don't have to
we
have
should have
been in March Madness to go.
Gifting
Yeah.
is cool. We should have presents.
I mean, you should have a VidCon present. I want a tote. I want a laptop. Elrico, I'll see you
We'll
there.
be that Farida's there.
Farid, I'll see you there. He's like, I'm not going. I'm not going. Don't make me go. You can't handle the tooth. Okay, DT, come on over, my darling. We're ready for Q&A.
All right.
All right. Everybody pop over here. Thank you.